Okay. Hi, everyone. It's been a moment. Welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today. I felt compelled to come to the table, and I do need to get some words out. I'm not quite certain what is going on because, you know, as the tool of the goddess, I don't always have an awareness or even control over what I'm being compelled to do. And I'm just going to jump into the messages here. It seems like I'm going to be a little bit of a channel. There's some type of veiling, unveiling, elucidation, illumination, enlightenment of yet to be seen. From my understanding, it will be along the lines of masterpieces, finished work, creation. And from what I understand, it will be thought forms and vibrations. A lot of people do not understand that when you're feeling, when you're in your feelings, you're in the past. When you're in your thoughts, you're in the future. And when you are joyful and present, you're in your emotions, which means you're in the present. I'm just going to share a little bit of personal information, even though this is the temple channel. While we allow a few people to get into the room, I have disabled comments because I don't care, frankly. So there you go. Um, I've been in a situation, this is relevant to everyone. I've been in a situation over the last number of weeks where I'm fighting back rage. And this is not atypical. This is not out of the blue. This is not something that is not common. And this is common. This is par for the course with me. And yeah, this is something universal. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start here a little bit. We need to give it a few minutes so people could get in the room. So we'll allow them to do that. Hi, hello, and welcome. Thank you for your continued support. If you want to go ahead and check the show notes, great. And remember to smash that like button, baby. And so I have this thing. A lot of people think that the world is happening to them, and I have no patience for that story. If people want to check out of their lives and pretend like whatever experience that they are experiencing is in somebody else's hands, it's according to some other person, place, or thing, like they haven't attracted it to their lives, like they're not dealing with it for a reason, you know. And I've been learning a lot over the last few days, over the last few weeks, over the last few months, over the last few years, frankly. And, you know, I got my ass kicked during that Mercury retrograde, was the second time it's happened in the last couple of years. And I am usually very immune to Mercury retrograde because I feel that I am a retrograde. Okay, so I was born with 5 retrograde planets in my chart, and I was born with Mercury retrograde in my chart. So normally, I wouldn't say immune, but I'm sheltered from the retrograde because when you are a retrograde, typically you're the auditor. Okay. Like a retrograde is pretty much that spirit, the planet of spirits, in case you didn't know, Mercury being Legba or Ifa in general. Typically, it's like you're getting judged by that spirit. You're being judged by that energy. You're being judged by that entity. For those who don't know, the planets are spirits. The planets are also your superpowers. They're also your talents. So when you come to Earth, you have 10 planets in your chart, according to this galaxy, okay, that we incarnate into. And Earth is not the same as Terra, is not the same as a planet. So believe it or not, there are other Earths. And in other parts of the galaxy, we call this planet that we reside on here, we don't call it Earth, we call it Gaia. But Gaia is also very specific to a dimension. Gaia is the seventh dimension, Terra is the um, third dimension, Tara is the fifth dimension. So when we say Extraterrestrial, we're talking about entities, people, places, and things that can incarnate into a higher or lower density. So when you incarnate on Earth, you have 10 planets in your chart, which means you have God and 9 other powers. Said differently, you have your God and 9 other powers. So when I start talking about voodoo or orisha and people start getting scared, my opinion of you is not good because you are a maggot piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. There's no nicer way to say that. I'm not going to get on the air and start cussing. But when a person is paying more attention to everything that gets in the way of their goals instead of going after the single thing that will accomplish their goals, it says a lot about them. I'm not angry. I'm not yelling. I speak the truth. And if your heart shakes, there's a quiver in your spirit when words come out of my mouth, it means you are in the presence of a higher vibrational being. Any other little story you decide to tell yourself is a waste of time. Don't fuck with your life in my presence. Enough of that. We are done with that one. Second, you're doing spiritual work already. Don't get it twisted. Third, you are working with the spirits already. Do not get it twisted. Don't take my word for it and don't do it because I'm telling it to you. But if you want to fuck with your life, get away from me. There's no nicer way to say that. You come to Earth, you have planets in your chart, so you're already doing spiritual work. Believe it or not, coming into the physical dimension is a magical ritual. Coming into the body is a magical ritual. Welcome to class, folks. I've been torn up in knots, I've been twisted apart, and I don't blame other people for it. Yeah, it might not have been my fault, but it's my responsibility. And usually it is my fault too, I'll be honest. I'm just tired. I'm there's a point when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired and you ain't ready or willing to deal with nobody else's bullshit anymore, including your own. Guilty. Okay. So people, it's fine to be fearful, but when you're not willing to look at your fears in the face and tackle them, crawl back up your mother's cooch and die. There's no how else do I have compassion for you because I'm willing to say it to your face. And everybody be nice, be nice. I'm not complaining. I'm just, this is the earth shit that humans deal with. And you sound like a fucking lunatic. Lunatic means somebody whose emotional nature is unknown to them. So when your true self shows up and decides to participate in the experience with you, you become fearful. That's the definition of a lunatic. Okay? Means you're succumbing to the energy of the moon. The moon in your chart is your soul. It talks about who you truly are and how that's veiled spiritually from the material reality. Okay? Your spirit is the sun, your soul is the moon. Basically, the moon is the veil you wear in the third dimensional physical experience. The moon doesn't exist in the fifth dimension, y'all. The moon is the only planet you will see if you leave Earth and you go into space. You don't see Jupiter, you don't see all those other things. Your two little human eyes, the only luminary they can see is the moon. So you come to me and you want me to make you feel better about yourself, and I will make you feel better about yourself, but that's when you're doing your work. And it's not me. If you come to Vertex of Abundance, if you come to any of my children, if you come to any of my team, that's what happens. I don't want to sit here and get in the game and make you feel bad about yourself. But if I can't even speak the truth, I used to be nice about it and keep on working and keep on emailing and keep on, ooh, cuckoo, your little feelings, ooh, cuckoo, feel better. Now what I'm going to do is just phone your dead grandma and tell her to come kick your ass. I will jump into your dreams and tell you, don't call me until you're serious. So now that that's out of the way, I think you can be open and willing to hear what I got to say. Because for those who have already unsubscribed and ran away and crawled back up their mama's cooch, then nice knowing you. Okay. Here's the situation. You don't come to Earth to waste time. You don't come to Earth to get distracted. You don't come to Earth to suck a dick and fall in love with some man who's going to rob you of your soul. If you come to Earth and you're lucky enough to incarnate in a human form, shut the fuck up and get your work done. That's the nitty gritty. There's no other alternative. None. None. You have no other option. If you're not willing to fight for your life, shut the fuck up and die already. By the way, die means to divide. Die is two, meaning you divide the spiritual from the physical. People get it twisted. And when you meet me and I lay my eyes upon you, you will face judgment. I don't care if it's a love reading. I don't care if it's an EFA reading. I'm not some low vibrational, dumbass, low level fucking spiritual person. Nobody at Vertex of Abundance is. We're not here to co-sign your bullshit story. Get the fuck off YouTube with that shit. Go read your little Bible and put your power in somebody else's hands and wait for the fucking rapture, which is going to get you fucked up and twisted. The fuckery. And I'm calling myself out too because I co-signed the bullshit. When I first started YouTube, oh my gosh, all I did was love readings and all I did was like, he's going to come back to you and we're waiting on him and all that. And I would be able to see whatever the problem really was. You know, he's sticking his dick somewhere. He don't love you like you think he should. But the whole waiting on something outside of yourself to come into you or into your life to make you feel better is externalizing your personal power. And as one of the princes of heaven, as one of God's lieutenants, I will lose my privileges to continue to do that. And I spot it because I got it. Nobody's getting yelled at. Nobody's in trouble. But this is the situation, y'all. You're already doing voodoo and orisha. I don't care what stupid story you tell yourself. If somebody hasn't got that through your head yet, let me be the one to do it. Are you looking at your chart? Are you busting out tarot cards? You're doing spiritual work. Do you have melanin in your body? You're doing spiritual work. Do you care about the full moon? You're doing spiritual work. Shut up if you need to say something different. Stop it. You want to lie to yourself, you're going to rob yourself of the promised land. That's how it works. If you have melanin, you are made of light. Come here, get your work done. Period. There's no alternative, girl. There isn't. The alternative is you get reborn and you're in the devil's hand. The devil's hand doesn't always mean you're literally in hell. It means you're stuck somewhere knowing the truth but not being able to use the truth because you gave your power away in the previous lifetime and you have to live that whole little incarnation getting your power back. Honey, that's what this lifetime is. So don't waste your time. Don't need to repeat the grade. If a person comes to me and they're scared of what I'm doing for them, that means they're in the remedial class. Let me say that again. If you're scared of astrology, if you're scared of tarot, if you're scared of voodoo, if you're scared of Ifa, if you're scared of Orisha, you are in the remedial class. The white man colonizer with the blonde hair and the blue eyes has stolen your soul already. And you are co-signing and perpetuating and defending his little plea to keep your power for himself. That's what it is. Anything else, don't talk to me. Forget I exist. Get away from me. Ugh. Do you understand? That is the nitty-gritty bottom line. That is where you start. That is square number one. Step one. Letter A. Anything else is absolute, complete fuckery. And don't you get it twisted. Mercury in your chart, okay, that is your ability to call upon your power. It is your ability to go out through this world and recognize God looking back at you. Your moon sign. Your moon sign, Mercury is Ifa, by the way, it's Legba. Your moon sign. The moon is Yemaya. Neptune and the moon is Yemaya. Also, Neptune and the sun is Yemaya. Why? Because we're all in the womb of the goddess. Yemaya is the mother of all divine children. Okay? That's your moon sign. It's your mummy. M-A-M-I, like mommy wata. Okay? Your sun sign. That's your spirit. The moon, that's your soul. The sun is the da, like Dambala. We don't say Dambala in Ghana, Togo, Benin. We say Mabusek Polisa. We say Mama Wedo. We say Da. Okay? But your sun sign, that's your gift. That's the light you shine out into the world. That's how God comes to earth through you. Your Venus sign, that's your Chamba. Chamba is also known as Oshun. Venus is your feelings. People think feelings and emotions are the same thing, honey. Don't get caught up in that bullshit story. Do not do it. Your Venus sign tells you how you can get your needs met through other people, but you can't get your needs met through other people if you don't know who you are. First thing you do is work on your moon and your Mercury. Once your moon and your Mercury are online and they're fed, meaning once you feed your Legba spirit and your Chamba spirit, guess what'll happen? Then your Venus is active. Then you can call upon the divine light. You can call the angels to your rescue. Just like Angelica root, Archangel root, it's the same thing. Once you feed your Venus, guess what wakes up? Your Shango, your Havioso, your Jupiter. Jupiter is your divinity. It's your ability to align with the vibrations and the resonance of heaven. Heaven is not some other place. It's a frequency and a resonance. Okay? It's like two magnets trying to stick together. Sometimes they repel each other and sometimes they attract each other. That's Jupiter. When it talks about expansion and growth and luck and da 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 da, yeah. Because when you go towards the light, when you separate yourself from all the low vibrational things that keep you stuck on earth, meaning matter, attachments, emotions and feelings are different. So if you have a bunch of feelings about other people, places, and things that have happened to you and you're carrying them around with you. Translation, if you're carrying around stupidity, ignorance, or other people's shit, you're going to keep incarnating in the third dimension. That's the Venus work, y'all. That's the Oshun. Why Oshun? Why does everybody love Oshun? Because she brings joy, illumination, enlightenment, happiness through self-reliance. How are you going to show up to a partnership? How are you going to show up to a marriage if you're out of whack? How are you going to show up to your own life if you're out of whack? And honey, if you're spending time telling other people that they're the reason that you're out of whack, you on crack, okay? Your Mars. I always say it like this. If you're in a vehicle, Mars is the accelerator, Saturn is the brake. In Voodoo and Orisha, we call Mars Gu, Ogun. By the way, y'all, this is an Ogun year. So I'm telling everybody, whether you're a good child or not, you need to put protection on you. And we just had a big festival in Benin. The temple called me and they were like, hey, you know, the prices are going up. So I told some of y'all it's $95,000 to put, not like American currency. In Benin, $95,000 over there is like $150 over here. So don't get it twisted. So it went up from 95,000 sefa to about 135 sefa. It's difficult to get goats and rams right now, especially sometimes depending on the child, you might need an all-white ram or an all-white goat. Those are a little bit more pricey. So Oracle at priestessgorgeous.org. I'll keep on going with Gu. So Gu is force. It's power. It is the active use of a shay. Okay? So until something matters, it's not going to come into matter. Until something matters, it's not going to materialize. So when things matter to you, that's your Venus. But your drives, passions, desires, motivations, the things that get you to go out and accomplish and achieve what matters to you, that's Mars. That's Gu. So when you look at your chart and you want to know what your superpower is for force, For kinetic energy, you look at your Mars. Also, if you want to know why you're being punished and fucked over in this lifetime, why shit's always burning down around you, you look at your Mars. I can tell what kind of karma you have or how you are living the punishment from God in this lifetime according to the placement of your Mars. Okay? So, Saturn would tell me what you didn't do correctly in the previous lifetime. Mars will tell me where you're getting punished or where you have to pay off that debt in this lifetime. Mars is the lower emanation of Saturn. Saturn is the lower emanation of all of the God's energy. Saturn is God, but God is not source. God comes from source. God is alive in you. Generator, operator, destroyer. Generator being Brahma, also known as Uranus. Operator being Vishnu, also known as Neptune. Destroyer being Shiva, also known as Pluto. Uranus, Vishnu, or Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto together equal the energy of source. But when you look at them individually, they are the three facets of the creator. The creator is not the creator. Source energy. Source energy is it's impermanent, it's unfathomable, untangible. We can't even get close to describing it. But when you look towards God, you're looking at the highest form that you can accomplish on earth. Earth means the dirt. It means terra, terrain. It doesn't mean an approximate location. There's a seventh dimensional Earth. There's a fifth dimensional Earth. There are humans in other parts of the galaxy. Okay, so we talked about Venus. We talked about Mars. We talked about Moon, Sun. We talked about Mercury. We talked about Jupiter. Let me tell you a little bit more about Jupiter. Havioso, Shango. Um, So if you're bougie or if you're a prima donna, a principessa, a princessa, if you are very, 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 very talented, if you're at the top of your game, if you're just really, 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 really good at what you do, that's when we tend to bring in the energy of Havioso, Jupiter, Shango, because it means you were royal in a previous lifetime. When I see a prominently placed Jupiter, it means you have affluent hereditary. Not your blood, not your little blue bloodline, not your little fucking lizard line. It's more along the lines of like you were a king or queen, you were a principal, you were a guru, you were a guide, you were an attendant, you belonged in the royal court. So when we're looking at the chart, I can tell a royal child because Venus and Mars will tell me. I mean, Venus and Jupiter will tell me. Jupiter and Mars are brothers. Mars is typically where you get in trouble. So you need the Jupiter energy to regulate. Like I have a couple good children and there's one good child. It's really hard to keep your temper. I'm that way. I have my Mars in Leo. You do not piss me off. Mars in Leo in the fifth house. I will fight you to the death over an ideal. I will. That's why everybody knows, don't give me attitude, don't talk back to me, do not do it. Even if I'm wrong, do not raise your voice. Don't do it, because whatever spirits are with me, they may get offended. And I'm just a vessel, honey. So it's the same. It's the same. Jupiter tells you, like, if you're kings or queens, if you're the best of the best, it talks about that stuff. But it also aligns you with that energy. So if you woke up even if you weren't royal in a previous lifetime, if you woke up and you got your Venus online, Venus calls to the sun and calls to the Jupiter. So who was Oshun's husband or lover, right? Shango Gu, right? Do you hear what I'm saying? So we all know the story, but we don't know the story because we're not living the story. The story is not in our heart. We keep looking outside of ourselves for the answers, waiting on something to come into our lives to make our lives better, instead of focusing on what we need to do to go after it. See, we don't need to have what we need right now. We need to focus on what we want. And if the universe is in alignment with us, it'll provide opportunities for us to go out and accomplish that. It's not so much about the destination, y'all. The journey is so much more important. The destination is the payoff for going on the journey. And if you think about it any other way, you're wasting your time. Stop it. Okay? So when you think of your Jupiter, that's your Havioso, that's your Shango. Everybody has one. Now, if I take you to Ifa and those spirits won't speak up, it just means you've been, for the last 5,000 years, you've been disconnected from the root. So a lot of people think I don't like white people, and that's not the truth. There's one thing I know for sure. People with less melanin, it means that they are a newer version of humans. That's all. People that are deep, 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 darkly melanated, it means they're children of Chamba and Ade, also known as Oshun and Ochosi. Okay? It means they're children of Adam and Eve. Okay? That's all. It means that they're from the Fertile Crescent. It means they're from the three tribes of people that lived off the olive, the fig, and the barley. We would know them as the 12 tribes of Egypt or the 12 tribes of Israel. Israel. Okay? Isis, Ra, and El, which could be sometimes El is Sakpata, Saturn, Babalue. Sometimes El is Elohim, which is still again Saturn, Sakpata, Babalue. So that's what Jupiter is. Jupiter connects you with the gods. Jupiter will connect you with the boss. You know how like when you're on the phone with someone, you're like, "Can I speak to your manager?" That's Jupiter. When the manager gets on the phone, you're talking to Jupiter. Okay. The purpose of Jupiter in a person's chart is to expand the soul's wisdom so that they can step into their higher self. Mercury is the left side of the brain, Jupiter is the right side of the brain. We always talk about the lower mind, the higher mind, not here, but I hear it on YouTube all the time. And I'm displeased, underwhelmed, unimpressed, disinterested in what those other YouTube readers have to say. Nobody on YouTube does what's my whistle. No, not a single person. Now, your angelic karma comes pretty close, and she's the only person I subscribe to in terms of tarot. I've had to stop watching astrology. Well, there's this woman called Tara Bloom, like taro bloom, like a flower. I really like her as well. There's another woman, Soul Sun Astrology. I really like her, but these are Indian people. Your angelic karma is clearly melanated. I look at your angelic karma, I can see her spirits. Do you understand? And I'm not bagging on anybody else. I used to watch everybody. I don't want to say any names because I don't want to say bad about them. But I end up watching my own videos a week later because it's the only thing that helps me. That's Jupiter. When you have to connect into the universe through soul's wisdom, no other motherfucker in the third dimension is going to do nothing for you. When you were eager a year ago, eager 5 years ago, eager 10 years ago to get into wherever you are today, and now today it's very obvious that you're outgrowing it, that's Jupiter. When you've leached all that you can get out from that current environment or situation, and now you need to go on to bigger, brighter, better, that's Jupiter. The whole talk about expansion. So what does Havioso do? What does Shango do? First of all, lightning. Okay, but when you understand the lightning is talking about the king of the heavens, it's talking about electromagnetism, it's talking about electricity. Well, electricity is the lifeblood, it's what actually gives our body animation. Okay, so it's really the DNA is what Havioso is. When you think about the first child, the first son, Adam, as in atom, as in the DNA. Okay, so now we're at Saturn, the seventh planet. Saturn is called Sakpata. Now, I am a Saturn child. I won't tell you which one because that's dangerous for me. But I've already said Jupiter, and I've already said that I'm a little princess, so it's really easy to guess. Okay? All of my spirits, every single one of them, are the royal spirits. I don't have peasant shit. Now, I'm not doing so well in my life right now, but I've been shedding off a lot of material, a lot of third dimension, a lot of lower stuff. So I might be really rich in spiritual knowledge, but my other Lakshmi is not doing great. I have a lot of Saraswati, a lot of spiritual wealth, but I don't have a lot of Lakshmi, a lot of physical wealth. I have a lot of Durga, which is power, a shade. I just don't have a lot of Lakshmi, which is physical wealth. Those are the three wealths. Lakshmi, Venus, that's fit money. Jewels. It doesn't always need to be dollar bills, banknotes. It could be jewels. You might have a lot. Maybe you have a lot of electronics in your house that you can sell. Maybe you have a lot of gold, a lot of, I really like rubies, I really like diamonds, I really like emeralds. Those are my gems. I love them. Okay. I have a lot of jewelry. I have a lot of crystals, thousands of dollars of crystals. I just don't have a lot of money anymore. I used to have a lot, not anymore. But I have a lot of a lot of a shade. That's why spiritual talks don't work so well. I have a lot of spiritual knowledge. It comes from places that I don't even understand. Half the time I'm talking about things and I don't even know where it came from. It's just coming through me, not even from me. So you need to figure that out for yourself. Now, talking about Saturn, Saturn is the worker, and Saturn is the gatekeeper for the material plane. So until you dilute, diminish, dissipate your karma, you will have to deal with Saturn. Now, a lot of people are scared of Saturn, and I get it now, because this whole breakdown for me, this last couple of weeks, I've been dealing with the fact that I scare people, the fact that people want me around, but they just can't tolerate me because my energy spooks them. I say this a lot, when you turn on the light in a dark room, the roaches run back to the corner. If I'm a lion and I go drinking at the water hole, all the zebras are going to start yip, 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 yip. All the little rats and rodents are going to flee. I can't help you with that. And part of me, take what you want to take out of this, but if my energy terrifies you, honey, pray to your Lord, because if I terrify you, what are you going to do when you look at God Himself, themselves? That's what I'm talking about. Saturn is the filter that God steps through. Because if God comes to the third dimension, He'll destroy the fabric of the material realm. God has to incarnate through the seed, the flower of life, the seed of life. He needs to put a little tiny drop of Him. Because if He gives you more than a couple drops, it's going to be too poisonous. They say, and this is very much the Queen of Pentacles, it's the dose that makes the poison. So when you look at these pharmaceutical drugs, when you look at the pharmacology industry, it's interesting because they'll take extracts from food and then they'll times it by 5,000%, and now it's a pharmaceutical drug. You take the extract from food and you times it by 500%, it's medicine. Okay? So that's Saturn. That's Sakpata. Yeah, we talk about the Lord of Karma, the Lord of Time, da 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 da. Human shit. The white man made that up. Okay, I don't know a nicer way to say that. I have nothing against white people. I'm celibate right now, but I always make the joke I suck white dick. So y'all can't call me a racist. What I'm saying is the history books, the science books, the religion books, which is all Satanism. Believe it or not, it's Satanism. That's really what it is. Time is the conveyor belt through which karma gets manifested into the physical realm. Saturn is the gatekeeper of our solar system. Angels are angels of light. Where do you think those come from? The stars. Who do you think the ruler of the stars is? Jupiter and Saturn. Okay? So if time is the conveyor belt through which karma gets anchored into the physical, and Saturn is the gatekeeper of time, Saturn ergo is the gatekeeper of karma. A lot of these God energies, the Pluto lieutenants, the Uranus lieutenants, the Neptune lieutenants, they step through Saturn. If you know anything about Ascension technology and you start counting up the dimensions, you notice you get to that, it's called Brahmjyoti, the effulgent light of the Creator. That's ruled by Saturn. When light is born out of the darkness, that's ruled from Saturn. Think about it. A diamond. How How beautiful is that diamond? You know, that diamond's on and popping, right? But what happened with the diamond? It was under immense pressure for who knows how long. And time is much different in the divine realm than it is down here. One human lifetime, 84 years, is one day in God's house. 72 days down here is one day in the very next realm. God is heaven is 4 realms above us. God is 7 realms above where we live here. But heaven is 4 realms above us. So imagine the shit we don't know, the shit we can't fathom. All these motherfuckers, myself included, running around talking some bullshit, wasting the time, distracting themselves with some fuckery. I have no more time for it. If you think I was mean before, come fuck with me now. I love you. I love all of you. I don't find any meaning in my life by demeaning other people, but I am not here to co-sign your bullshit story. I've been done saying this, and the last straw broke my back. I am done. I am done. I am done. I am done. Vertex of Abundance as an entity will no longer co-sign bullshit by any means whatsoever. When you come into my house, you are ready to do your work. And I've been having an issue. I've been dropping a lot of balls. I've been missing a lot of deadlines. I've been letting a lot of people down because I am no low vibrational person. I have God's ear. Do you understand? God wishes to me to tell the masses I'm not calling myself a Messiah. I'm not calling myself a prophet. I am calling myself a sage, a guru, a Brahmin by birth. All of my spirits are top notch. And I don't have 2 or 3 spirits like a white person does. I have 99 spirits. Only 51 of them that I can talk about to anybody who's not initiated. So you want to run away from Ifa? Fine. You want to run to some other person who's going to fuck your life? Fine. You want to run to some pansy who's going to co-sign your bullshit? Fine. But understand one thing. I am not a predatory practitioner. The moment you open Ifa, I don't make a dime off of you anymore. I'm not taking your spiritual money and doing something with it. It's going directly to Benin. I know I priced myself out of the market because people come to me and they're not serious and they just want a love reading. So I can't charge you $45 for a tarot reading anymore. I'm sorry. Twice a year I run a special. You can get a 30-minute reading for $72. The rest of the time it's going to be $162. You want to open up your file? I need $270 from you. That's the way that it is. I don't get to keep the money. I get to keep like $10. Really, it just goes to pay for internet. Do you understand? My life, my success depends on your success. When I put you out there doing spiritual work, doing light work, saving souls, that's when I get paid. Not by Ooga Booga spooking you and telling you that your grandmama had a demon and this and that and that and this. I'd like to get well beyond that. And most people, especially people born in an English-speaking country, when they show up to Ifa, when they show up and stand before God, the language of the gods, the messenger of the gods is Mercury. Who do you think Mercury is? Ifa. When you stand before God and you were born in a country that speaks English that's run by a white man, do you know what happens? The first thing we do is talk about your dirt. Do you understand what happened to you? Dear child, the motherfucking colonizer came to the womb of creation, handed us a Bible, and took our soul. Do you understand what that means? It means when Jesus died for our sins, all we got back was our soul, but we're still living in prison. 98% of the surface of the planet is in slavery in some kind or another. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. When you come to me, I take you into my heart. I take you into my hand. And when you're going through karmic deficits, I'm going through them right with you. That's why I've been gone for several months. Taking too many disrespectful ass children who do nothing but cuss me out and waste my fucking time. And then when the goddess is mad, they don't get a spanking, I do. Don't call me, don't contact me, don't email me with your attitude. Do not do it. I don't have to threaten you. I don't have to stick a root on you. All I have to do is sit down in prayer to fuck your life. Are you really going to look God in the eyes and cuss him out? I'm not a white man. 100% of my soul is inside of my body. When you talk to me, you have the voice of the angels at the very least, if not the eye of the goddess. If you knew who was on my head, you would shut the fuck up and get your work done. I'm here to save your soul, not waste time, and not make you feel better about yourself. I do not find meaning in my life by demeaning others. That's not the way I roll. This is not a drill. We are 1 year out. 18 months away from Judgment Day, y'all. 18 fucking months. Are you ready? Are your children ready? Are your ancestors ready? Are they fed up? Are you prayed up? You have enough Ashay in the bank? What are we doing here, children? I have to take us home. That's my job. I need to name your unnamed ancestors. I need to wake them up from the depths of the sea. I need to bring them back from the point of no return. I don't need to hear about your fucking boyfriend you should have left a year ago. I don't need to hear about your fucking job that you're clearly at so you can do your spiritual work so the goddess will put you where you belong. My job is to bring you home, to name you, to name your unnamed ancestors, to bring them home, to wake them up, to put them to rest properly. Anything else is a waste of time. Now, I'll run your cards. I'll throw some bones. I'll bust out some runes. I'll sing mantras with you. I'll record prayers for you. I'll bust a root for you, not on someone. I'm not a retaliatory practitioner. I am a king, I am a queen, I am a demigod, I am Radha tradition, I am Mami Da. Hono, top of the church. I don't stoop down to nitty gritty evil ass levels. So if you don't have something righteous, I cannot take that to God, or I get my ass kicked. Do you understand? So don't even think about me trying to do retaliatory shit because I get my ass kicked. Don't flatter yourself thinking that I love you enough or give a shit about you enough to bind my karma to yours. My job is to grab you out of the gates of hell, to grab you out of the gutters, to wipe the shit off you, to put the crown on your head, and send you home to mama. Mami wata. Mabusek polisa. Do you understand? Now, that was a message to get right and to see the truth, okay? All right, so there we go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. So, release. This is a good card. I know it's dark colors and stuff, but it's gray, which means seventh chakra. Okay. Abundanza. So when you come to me, we need your chart. And I can see the spirits through your chart. If you really can't handle the indigenous stuff, that's fine. I don't respond well to people who are fearful. And you need to tell me your fears. But I'm going to tell you, fuck your fears. I'll tread easy today. But next week, we're going to have to rip off the band aid. So if you're terrified and you're pissing your pants, that doesn't help me because it means you're not present during the work. Do you understand? Now, if I didn't answer your email fast enough, it doesn't mean that I'm putting a root on you. It doesn't mean that I'm mad at you. It means that I'm fucking puking my brains out. It means that I'm having to take a spiritual bath. It means I'm having to rip the devil off my shoulder because I just saved a child who the devil was leeching dry. After I do work for a client, guess what happens? I get the attack because I've hidden you. I've cleansed you. I've purified you. I've shut the door to whatever little back door the devil had to you. There's a reason I'm taking more than 3 baths a week. For most children, I suggest 2 baths a week. If you have gu or sakpata, I suggest 3 baths a week if that's on a good week. But if you're having a bad week, baby doll, take a bath every day. 20 minutes. Duck your head under the water. Cleanse your third eye. Cleanse the back of your head. Put perfume on or Florida water. Put some baby powder in your bed. Spray it down with Florida water. Do you understand? Unless you're on your menstrual, unless the bitch is in town, I say, unless you're bleeding, have white sheets. I don't give a fuck if you don't have money. Go to the thrift store. Go to the clearance aisle. What I did when I first showed up 3 years ago was every time I go to the grocery store like 3 times a week, like a little French lady, I like to ride my bike with my little basket, have my baguette and my little fancy cheese and my little elderberry soda. And I like to just, get a few items at a time, but several times during the week. I also live by the Portland Fruit Market, so I can just, it's like a semi full time, year round, farmer's market. So I can go and get like a French lady. But every time I go to the grocery store, they have a clearance rack and I buy one white item. So maybe I don't have a closet full of white clothes on January 1st, but by June 22nd, I'm going to have a closet full of white clothes. You got to start. You got to start. Everybody should have 3 head to toe white outfits, including socks and underwear. Everybody should have white sheets. Everybody should have an ancestor altar. Everybody. Everybody. Don't worry about getting it all at one time. The thought and the effort is what the goddess is measuring. If on a Tuesday you're better than you were on the previous Wednesday of last week, good. You can go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Girl, as long as this low point is higher than the last low point, good. You can focus on excuses or you can focus on results. You cannot have excuses and results at the same time. Reasons are results. Discipline are regrets. An ounce of discipline today is worth a pound of regret tomorrow. If this was 2012, when I was just getting ordained as a priestess, when I was just finding my path, when I was just learning to take refuge in the goddess, we'd have more time. But, I'm not a pansy ass motherfucker. I'm not some low vibrational, low totem pole bitch. I don't have a way of not being a drill sergeant. I don't have a way of being nice and sweet. The goddess that I work with, she's furious. She's not the loving, generous kind. She's the one that uses weapons. The goddess that I chant to in the morning, she's the one who severs demons' heads. You want me on your side. My goddess, when she loves you, she's removing from your life what is not in alignment with the true power of your spirit. Oftentimes, what will disappear is your attachments. Could be the man, could be the TV, could be your money, whatever. My voice is like thunder. You will be shook. If the devil is alive in you, you will be shook. I'm sorry. Welcome to class. Let's get to work. I love all of you so much. I want to help all of you so much. I just don't want to, I don't want to make your life any more demonic. I don't want to give birth to more demons. I don't want to co-sign any more bullshit. I don't want to spend any more time solidifying your illusion. I want you to see the divine light. I want you to make it to the promised land. I want to take everybody with me. There's some things that happen. So if a child comes to me and Ifa says to do something and they don't do it in 16 days, I get in trouble. We can ask for more time. If you're American or if you're not born in Africa, we always can get more time. Now, there's a few of you that don't, and it's those who are disrespectful, those who steal money, those who lie on men, those who lie in court. You show up to Ifa, you're in trouble. Anybody who's cried rape who really wasn't assaulted, I am not shaming victims. I'm a victim myself. Okay. Anybody who files false police reports, anybody who steals a lot of money, especially from people who need it, or like, I don't know, your employer, if you violate trust, you show up to Ifa, that's a little bit of a problem. I know Ifa costs $270, but there's very few people who show up to Ifa who can start doing work immediately. You show up to Ifa, and what happens is they'll be like, okay, you're pretty clean. You just feed your ancestors and we'll give you a job. Some people show up to Ifa and $16,000 later, they're ready to do their work. With me, when I started, it was about $1,200. Okay. So I put $1,600, not $16,000 in before I was ready to start doing my work. And a lot of times, especially if you're black, you really are attracted to Yemaya. You're really attracted to Oshun. You really want to do Mami Wata work. Mami Wata work is always about purifying, cleansing, praying, dancing, singing, praying, cleansing, purifying, praying, dancing, cleansing. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's scrubbing the dirt off the human soul to make you bright enough for the angels to find you when Judgment Day comes around. A lot of times there won't be much to do when you open up Ifa, but if you're a child of, say, Saturn, Sakpata, he might want to put a ring on you. Pun intended, maybe not, but pun intended. I get a cane, a broom and a cane. Javioso, you get rings and necklaces. Oshun, you get rings and necklaces and a stool. You know, those are the things that are pricey, not necessarily the actual work with the spirit. A spirit might want a ram or a goat or a chicken or whatever, and then you're done. You're good for the year. And a lot of people don't understand what it means to be on the surface of the planet. The surface of the planet is an illusion. It's basically animation, a video game. So a lot of people are worried about animal sacrifice and this and that, not in this. You don't know how the world works then. Yeah, we're made in the image of God. Humans being killed is not a good thing. But really, it's not about the killing, because you never really die in the third dimension. It's really more about the intention, and it's really more about the reverence for life. A lot of people email me like, why don't you hire an assistant? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you da 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 da? I am judging you, and here's my opinion, and here's what you should do. Baby doll, I get in trouble if I eat a meal that was cooked by a person who was on their menstrual cycle. A lot of this I've just found out this year. We're what, 4 months into the year? I've had more education in 4 months than I've had in the last 10 years. I'm tired. My brain is full. But that's how it is. I need permission from God for everything I do, except wipe my ass, but pretty much everything I do. I have to ask permission before I leave the house. I have to ask permission before I spend more than $25. I have to ask permission every time I want to buy shoes. If I want to buy clothes and they're not white or purple, I have to ask permission. Now, it's not like that for everybody. I'm very, very, very high up in the temple, and basically, my life is not my life. My life belongs to my ancestors and my spirits. Period. So if I want to suck some dick, I gotta ask permission. If I want to invite a man to my house, I gotta ask permission before I even give him my address. It's not like that for everybody. I had a friend come over to my house and make fun of me because I couldn't leave the house on Tuesdays. It's a very, very, very high honor not to be able to leave the house on Tuesdays. But it does feel like a limitation. It's like when you go vegan, it feels like there's nothing you can eat. But after a year, when you learn the new tips and tricks, it's very freeing. It's very liberating. It's the same thing. It's like when you want to lose weight, you have to go on a diet, you have to start going to the gym all the time. It sucks in the beginning. Nobody wants to live with less of anything except drama and debt. Okay? But after a while, it's liberating. You feel extra muscles. You can feel your body. You feel sexy. You know? It's the same thing with spiritual work. You need a devotional path and a spiritual practice, or you will die trying to be spiritual. If you are not tuning into something bigger, brighter, and better than you, called universal love vibration and the oneness, if you are not aligning with the Jesus archetype, which is the highest aspect of humanity, unconditional love and the universal oneness, if you are not connecting to that, you do not need to be involved with spiritual work. I won't be hiring people into the temple again until June. So if you want a reading for something that isn't about your spiritual path, you have to wait until then. Okay? So I'm going to start putting on a lot more videos. I love all of you so much. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm a cunt rat bitch sometimes and I just talk shit left, right, and center. But I do it out of love. I promise you, I do it out of love. And if I terrify you, that's a good sign. I really don't trust a motherfucker who's not smart enough to be frightened of me. I really don't. I mean, you dumb, deaf, blind, and fucking stupid, and you smoking some crack, and you the devil. And if you can sense my spirit, which is powerful, I don't have no little puny little spirit. Okay? I'm not at the bottom of the totem pole, which is an oxymoron because in some cultures, the bottom of the totem pole has more prominence than the top. But it's just a saying. I'm not at the bottom of the pyramid. Do you understand? Now, another thing I want to say is when I work with the goddess, I work with the mother of all mothers. So I'm very fortunate because I can handle all children. A lot of people, when they go to a practitioner, first of all, if you're doing Santeria, Condumble, Paolo, I can't even, Mayumbe, all those other things, I don't want to say they're bad because they're not. They're great. They're doing God's work. You have to understand slavery diluted a lot of things. So if you are working with me, then you go to somebody else because I pissed you off or you got scared of me, you have to understand several things. I'm going to count on my hand. First of all, I am royal. Royal on top of royal on top of royal on top of royal. I was born a princess. I'm a king now. Judge me all you want and then shut the fuck up and unsubscribe. So if you can't roll with that one, fuck up off me. So understand when you leave me and you go to somebody else, you're watering down what you're going to get. There's really no way around that. It might not matter to you, but you should know. I'm probably the best of the best. Now, I have the best of the best teachers and the best of the best spiritual sisters and madrinas around me because they're out of Africa. They're out of actual Africa. They're not in Puerto Rico, Dominican. They're out of Africa. Togo, Ghana, Benin. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I have a very, very powerful spirit. And my spirit is the mother of all spirits. So I can handle a lot of children that other people can't because normally when you go to Ifa and you go to the priest, if the priest has a cemetery on his head and you have the ocean on your head, he'll put the cemetery on your head just so he can keep you as a child. Do you understand what I mean? Example, maybe it's the forest, maybe it's the ocean, maybe it's the river. Who the fuck cares? Example. Okay. So with the mother of all children, I'm very fortunate because I can serve you, not my ego. I can serve you. Do you understand? I used to use this example even before I became a priestess. I'm an old investor. Y'all know I used to be rich. Now I'm not, thankfully, because I was full of shit and I had a big ass ego, which I still got a little bit, but toot toot. Really, what I'm saying is, I used to own a cell phone store, right? And in the cell phone store, I sold. This is back in the day, like 2003. So, you know, Sprint was actually called Nextel. T-Mobile was actually called VoiceStream. Back in the days. AT&T was called Singular Mobile. This back in the. But if you came to me, it didn't matter what cell phone carrier you wanted. I could sell you which one was right for you. Unlike if you went to a Nextel store or a Sprint store, you could only buy that phone. If you're a wholesaler, you can sell any phone to whatever client according to what they want. Well, it's the same thing with spirituality for me. I'm not limited. I'm not limited. Now, yeah, I do stay out of the cemetery because I work with life, but doesn't mean that I don't have a cemetery spirit. I just told you who my goddess was. She's the one who severs heads. She lives in the cemetery. So that's a distinction because if you go to something lesser, you're not going to have that. Okay? So you may have the King of Kings and have a dispute, and then you may go to some rat of rats, some runt of rats, some charlatan. If you know this person and you trust this person, they're a family friend, you've known them for 10 years, that's another story. I don't want to frighten you away from somebody else, but get the facts or the facts will get to you. And when you get them right or they will get you wrong. Do you understand? So I don't need you. Don't stay with me for the sake of staying with me. And if you're mad at me, say it to my fucking face. Say, hey, gorgeous, you didn't respond to my email for 2 weeks. I'm pissed off about that. I'm butthurt about it. As long as you don't give me an attitude, we'll be fine. Treat me like a military drill sergeant. Sir, respectively, fuck you, sir. That's acceptable to me. I went to boot camp. I went to military school. I was a hoe as a child. My parents were too embarrassed. They had to send me away to boot camp because I was sucking everybody's dick. I'll tell you the truth. Anyways, these are some things you need to be mindful of because I really don't like it when I'm in bed puking or something like that and I miss 3 emails from somebody and then they run to somebody who fucks their life. That is a wound that I carry for a long, long, long time. And I'm a bitch. I am a fucking cunt. I know it. But never will I ever do that to a child. That's the only people I respect is people who have a spiritual path. And my mom. Anybody else, I don't give a fuck about you. If you're not trying to get into God's house, I don't want to fucking talk to you. That's the way I roll, y'all. I'm not going to apologize for that. So if you've taken a vow or if you're trying to take a vow, I will stop time for you. But if I'm puking out of both my holes, you need to give me a minute. And if I say something that sends you on a wild goose chase, like makes you freak the fuck out and run around like a chicken with your head cut off, do it. Process your feelings and come back and tell me what your needs are. I don't need to like what you're telling me. I just need to understand it so that I can help you. The moment I open up Ifa, I'm responsible for you until December 21st of the year we stop talking. So if you open up Ifa January 1st and you tell me February 1st that you want to close Ifa, I have to fuck with you until December 21st of that year. Now you can block my emails, block my phone calls. I'll still have to fuck with you. I'll have to pray for you. I have to beg the goddess for more time for your forgiveness until December 21st of that year. Our year in Benin renews every December 21st. That's when the Da go away to judge their children. All black people on this planet came out of Sirius. All black people on this planet have Da spirits, period. Mami Wata and Mami Da is the same thing. The only difference is one person has a lot more moon energy than sun energy. Only difference. Okay? So that's all. I think I said it all. I love you. I honor you. I praise you. Ho'onoponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Again, my success depends on your success. So, you can hurt my feelings a lot, and it's easy to hurt my feelings. And I know I seem really intense, but I cry every night. There's not a bad thing. I need to purge. I'm deeply, deeply, deeply emotional. You'd never know it, but I am a Cancer. I have 6 placements in Cancer. 4 planets, 6 placements in Cancer. Okay? So don't get it twisted. I am a mama. I'm just a lion mama, okay? A dragon mama, but nobody's business. When you have dragon plus lion, it's actually Sphinx. So my mother is a lion, my father is a cobra, so that makes me the Sphinx. Okay? So those are my secrets that I'm willing to share, and that's what I needed to say. Let's pull one more card. Okay. So I know it says perfection, but this is actually a little bit negative because it's red. Red is the first chakra. Okay. But perfection and self worth. Okay, that's what came out. So I'm going to read the sermon from perfection. Give this a second. Un second, bitte. Okay, so these are from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. I really like her. She even has a bigger book, which is like a workbook, and you can go through it each week. And when I did it, it really, I've always had a lot of self empowerment. I've always been a badass bitch. You can't fuck with me. You can't hold me down. You can't tie me down. La 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 la. But I had an issue where I'd come off really combative because I didn't know how to articulate myself. I know I have a silver tongue, y'all. I know a lot of people think they can never say things the way that I say them, but it wasn't always that way. Um, I have a 20-degree Cancer sun, and my Venus and my Mercury are conjunct in Cancer as well. So, a little secret in your chart, if you have planets in the same sun as your sun, those planets, you really can't use them until they become active. So, your sun matures at the degree it is in your chart. So, since I have a 20-degree sun in Cancer, I didn't learn how to articulate myself until age 21. You hear what I'm saying? I actually didn't even have emotional intelligence or social intelligence until age 21 either, but that's another story. I graduated high school early. I was a little prodigy. I was a little kind of walking brain. Anyways, long story short. So this really helped me. This really, 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 really helped me. I suggest this for everybody, especially people who have a lot of relationship problems, because the thing in relationships is people oftentimes think relationships are supposed to give them something they can't give themselves. Partnerships and other halves and all that other stuff. I'm really kind of a stickler for that. You show up to the relationship whole. And when the relationship's not working, you don't work on the other person, you work on yourself. And if the relationship is no longer working for you, you leave the relationship. You're not leaving the other person. And you don't love another person for what they give you. You love a person for how it makes you feel. And you can love a person and not like a person in the same place at the same time. A lot of people get it twisted, and it's because we've been conditioned and programmed and lied to about how love works. Love shouldn't help you evolve. And if love is hindering you, it is illusion, it is addiction, and it is a lie. If that love that you feel or that love that you're trying to achieve is hindering you, it is a lie. Now, something could put blockages in your life and can slow you down, but it's still helping you evolve. That's not a lie. It might not be healthy, it might not be soulmate, it might be a karmic situation, but as long as it's evolving you down the road, as long as it's catapulting you into the future, that's healthy. Even if it's dysfunctional, it's still, does that make sense? So one person and another person get together, and the entity of the relationship is what you work on. If something is not working, you don't work on the other person. You don't go after them and start saying, well, you're this and you're that and you cheated on me and you're lying, you're a cheater. No. It's like, hey, we made an agreement to be exclusive. You dishonored your agreement and this relationship is no longer working for me because I no longer have faith and trust. So I'm going to bounce. You don't work on the other person. You don't say, tell me the truth. Where are you? Da, da, da. Anybody who's checking phones and checking emails and thinking that somebody's cheating, girl, the relationship's already over. You're already done. It might take some time to show up in the third dimension, but it's already finished. You don't work on the other person, you work on the relationship. Do you understand? It's just like the same thing with your creator. If you and God are not getting along, there's nothing wrong with God. There might not even be something wrong with you. You just need to work on your relationship with God. You don't need to work on God themselves. Now, no man is God. Woman is God. I know that's hard for y'all to hear, but I don't give a fuck about your little opinions, okay? So that's how it is. You work on the entity of the relationship, you don't work on the other person. So let's read Perfection. Again, we're reading from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, and we're going to be reading from page 15, Perfection. Okay. Righteous Raspberry. I have the same standard. I have the same high standards for myself as I have for others. So this is talking about a story because each of these cards introduces a character. So Raspberry needs no makeup to accentuate her exquisite features, but she wears it anyway. She is a perfectionist. She speaks the truth at all times, believing that she is helping others by sharing her truth. While statements such as your child is overweight are honest, they make others avoid her. Lonely, she seeks the advice of her favorite, Elderberry, who teaches her that honesty without kindness is cruelty. Her new vulnerability allows her to see the beauty in others as well as in herself. Well, isn't that cute? I love red and yellow together. Um, Plus, when you have a lot of Chamba spirits, not all the Chambas are kind like Oshun. Oshun is yellow, Yindi, and Sekendi. Those are the yellow Oshun, and they live in the river, the Chambas. Um, so the red one is like the volcano. Ooh, you don't want to meet her. And then the black one, too. I have the black one. She's the one who punishes. But yellow, because I do a lot of work with Durga and I do a lot of work with Kali, so that's the red and the yellow for me. For me, I'm a Kali devotee. Whenever you're Saturn, you have to worship Shiva. So the female Shiva or the female Pluto would be Kali. Okay. Whenever you're Saturn child, Saturn is a devotee of Lord Shiva. So that's why I do Soul Purpose Saturdays and not Soul Purpose Sundays, because Saturday is my holy day. It's the day that I go to church. Okay, so inspiration here for this card. Are you being too hard on yourself and consequently on others? Begin to look at what's right and good in your world and you will see it. Also, look at some gratitude. You know, breathe in blessings, exhale gratitude. Breathe in drama, exhale self-control. Exhale self-autonomy. Exhale being solid, safe, and secure in yourself. So a personal inquiry for this card may be, where am I presently focusing? Knowing what's right and telling others about it might not be the best way of being. key ideas here are to be mindful of alienating others, feeling alienated, seeking perfection, deeply desiring love, transformation ahead. Keywords: uniqueness, friendship, acceptance. Yeah, the meditation here is think about people in your life, find something good about every person who comes into your mind, no matter who and what they are or how you feel about them. Before you release them, you will know this meditation has concluded when there are no people to forgive or no people come forward in your mind that you need to forgive. I do that. When I don't like somebody, I find something to like about them. Another thing that this reminded me of is I have this problem. Excuse me. I know I talk a lot about white people, black people. I hope y'all can laugh about it. If I'm offending you, probably unsubscribe. I just, it's the reality of the situation. White is not right, and I don't care about your feelings on the matter. I have a lot of white clients. My mom is half white. Okay, please forgive me. Anyways, long story short, um, I get this a lot because I go to parties and festivals and stuff. I'm not like a clubber, but I love to go to like full moon gathering, eclipse party, stuff like that. Stuff where it involves camping and DMT, LSD, stuff like that. Okay, so I met this white girl once and she was like, I don't know who you are, but I just need your approval. And it was funny because she said it to me, and I know I get that from people a lot. A lot of people, it doesn't always happen to me this way since I'm the energy that I have. A lot of times it'll come in conflict where like somebody feels slighted by me and then they let me know that they want my approval when they're yelling at me, that they think that I don't like them because I never smile at them, I don't let them touch me, I don't let them talk to me. And there's reasons for that. I can see people's devil on their shoulder. I can smell them. So if they eat bacon, doesn't matter if I'm on the other side of the room, they smell like a pig to me. And if they're in bed with a demon and I look at them, I'll see a bunch of red around their aura. Okay. So that's oftentimes why I'm avoiding people because when you come close to me, it touches me. I'm very sensitive. I soak up energy. As a Cancer, I soak up a lot of energy, especially with the moon in the third house. Third house is energy that comes your way. It's energy that it literally confronts you. It knocks on your door. So my moon's in the third house. So I'm soaking up everybody that I meet. I'm soaking up their energy. So I'm very careful. And that makes people think that I don't like them a lot. Another thing that this reminded me of was don't find meaning in your life by demeaning others. This is something I had to work on for years. And then this is something that I had to learn. I started at 17. I didn't really get the message until I was like 22. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I used to walk around when I was young. I had lost 30 pounds and got off my ulcer medication when I was 17. I'd lost like 33 pounds in 30 days. And all I did was increase my protein and lower my sugar. Now I'm on a ketogenic diet. So I'm like high fat, high protein, low carbs. And I eat raw at home. I'll eat whatever I want when I leave the house. But at home, I don't like when people cook for me, like shit like that. Like I'm very on it. But when I was younger, I would go around cussing out people. Like, so if I see you feeding your child McDonald's, I would literally stop and like cuss you out. And it was funny. I was reading in here. This woman, what is her name? Raspberry is her name. She told this woman, "Your child is overweight." That was so mean when I was younger. So again, don't find meaning in your life by demeaning others. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I was having a fight with one of my business partners, and all of us ganged up on him. And he was saying like, I would do this with you, but I always have my feelings hurt, and I basically I slammed the table down. I said, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. It just flew out of my mouth, and then I had to calm down and not apologize, but retract my statement and be like, people don't care about your feelings when you're stepping all over theirs. If you're making a person feel defensive when you're trying to bond with them, connect with them, they're not going to hear you. They're not going to be able to soak up what you're saying. They're going to be worrying about defending themselves, putting up a barrier. So that's perfection, because sometimes it's with other people and sometimes it's with yourself. Like sometimes the perfection is you're being an enemy, you're being an adversary to your own self because you're so focused on perfection. I have that problem. And sometimes you can't bond with other people because you're so focused on perfection. That's the Virgo problem. See, Virgos are some of the most loving and devoted people on earth, but they don't come off that way. Because a Virgo, they love you when they're trying to improve your life. So if a Virgo comes in and starts, dusting your place and straightening out your clothes and folding your laundry, that's a sign of love. Okay? Most people are going to see that as judgment. You hear what I'm saying? It's the same thing. That's this perfection, you know? Like if you have a Virgo folding your laundry, it's just be like, Virgo, I only fold my underwear. I hang up everything else. And then let them fucking fold your laundry, you know? Don't stop them because that's like a knife in their heart. Don't nitpick them either, even though they're nitpicky. You hear what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Perfection. Perfection is when you can see the flaw and it brings compassion. There was this Facebook meme the other day and it said, if you think you're more spiritual because you're vegan, that's not spiritual if you judge everybody else for not being vegan. If you think you're more spiritual because you ride your bike to work, that's not more spiritual because you judge everybody who drives a car. It's the same thing. Do not find meaning in your life by demeaning other people. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, oracle at priestessgorgeous.org. I have been out of the loop, so if I drop some balls, let me know. A lot of you sent me donations, and I haven't even been able to email you back and say thank you. So I'm so sorry. I love you. Thank you for the donations. I need more, but I just want to, like, I don't want you to feel disrespected. I don't want you to feel like I don't appreciate you. That is not the case, I can assure you. There's three men in the practice right now, in terms of people who want to get trained and initiated and stuff like that. I need to get to you. You know who you are. KV initials, JL initials, DB initials. You're on my mind. You're in my heart. MR initials. You're in my heart. I'm coming back around to you. I've been puking out of both holes for a couple of weeks. I've been purging energies. I'm better now. I still have a runny nose. I still have a scratchy throat, but I'm healed. I'm healing. I'm full of love. My heart is open. I'm ready to fill my cup up again. Okay? So I love you. I honor you. I praise you. I thank you. Please take good care of yourself. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste. Dunda